Tonight, the world grows quiet once again. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to remember, nothing you need to solve. Simply listen and allow your breathing to slow, naturally, gently. With each breath, you release the weight of the day, letting it fall away like autumn leaves drifting softly to the ground. Your body knows how to rest, your mind knows how to settle, and tonight you need only follow where the story leads. Welcome to Eternal Tales, timeless stories to guide your dreams. Tonight, we journey to a place beyond the reach of time, a medieval castle standing silent beneath the stars, waiting to share its ancient peace with you. Beneath a pale moon, standing quietly upon a hill, there rests an ancient medieval castle. Its stone walls have watched centuries pass, kings and queens, travelers, and guards, all now part of distant memory. The moon tonight is luminous, casting silver light across the countryside, illuminating the castle's towers and battlements in soft, ethereal glow. You stand at the base of the hill, looking upward, feeling no urgency, only gentle curiosity. Path before you wend slowly upward, worn smooth by countless footsteps over countless years, each stone knowing the weight of history. As you begin to walk, you notice how cool the night air feels, fresh and clean, carrying with it the scent of wild grasses and distant forests and something else, something timeless and unchanged. The castle draws nearer with each slow step, growing larger, more defined, yet somehow also more dreamlike. Its walls are thick, built from enormous blocks of gray stone, fitted together with such precision that mortar seems almost unnecessary. Narrow windows punctuate the walls at irregular intervals, some dark, some showing the faintest flicker of torchlight within. The main gate stands open, not in invitation, but simply in stillness, as if waiting has become its natural state. Above the gate, carved into the stone, is an ancient emblem, its meaning lost to time, yet its presence somehow comforting, a reminder that others have passed this way before. You cross the threshold, feeling the temperature shift slightly, the air inside somehow both cooler and more sheltered. Tonight, the castle belongs only to the night, and to silence, and to you. The entrance hall opens before you, vast and high-ceilinged, its dimensions seeming to shift in the flickering torchlight. Stone pillars rise on either side, supporting arches that disappear into shadow above. The floor beneath your feet is made of smooth flagstones, worn into gentle valleys by centuries of passage, each depression a testament to patience and time. Torches burn in iron sconces along the walls, their flames dancing gently, never frantic, never rushed, moving in rhythm with their currents you cannot feel but somehow sense. The light they cast is warm, amber and gold, creating pools of illumination separated by comfortable darkness. You notice details slowly, allowing your eyes to adjust, to wander, to rest where they will. A long wooden table sits against one wall, its surface dark with age, polished by use, empty now except for shadows. Wooden beams cross the ceiling high above, massive timbers that have held this space together through storms and seasons beyond counting. There is no sound here, or rather, the sounds that exist are so soft they seem like silence. The whisper of flame, the settling of ancient wood, your own quiet breathing. You feel no need to hurry, no pressure to move forward, yet slowly, naturally, you find yourself drawn deeper into the castle. You move slowly through long stone corridors, your footsteps soft, almost unheard. Passageways branch and connect, leading to chambers and halls you will never see. Yet somehow this does not trouble you. You follow one corridor, then another, guided by nothing more than gentle instinct and the placement of torches along the walls. These torches flicker gently against the stone, their light warm and steady, creating an endless succession of shadows that shift and breathe in quiet rhythm. The walls themselves seem to hold stories, their surface textured by time, marked here and there with small imperfections that speak of age and authenticity. You run your hand along the stone as you walk, feeling its coolness, its solidity, its patient endurance. Tapestries hang at intervals along the corridor, their stories woven in thread. Now resting in shadow, some depict hunting scenes, nobles on horseback, forests and deer, all rendered in faded blues, in greens and golds. Others show daily life from centuries past, merchants in markets, craftsmen at their trades, children at play, all frozen in thread and time. You pause before one tapestry, studying it without urgency, noticing how the weaver captured movement in stillness, life in fabric, Stories in the careful crossing of colored threads. The corridor continues and you continue with it, unhurried. Simply present, simply walking through this space that has held so many footsteps before yours. Doorways appear on either side, some closed, some slightly ajar, revealing glimpses of rooms within. Through one opening you see a small chamber, perhaps once a guard's quarters, now empty, except for a simple wooden bench and a narrow window through which moonlight streams. Through another, a larger room with a long table and chairs, a place where decisions were once made, where voices once filled the air, now silent, now still. Time feels different here, slower, unhurried, as if the castle exists in its own measure of moments, unconcerned with the world beyond its walls. A spiral staircase appears on your left, narrow and winding, built into the thickness of the wall. You begin to climb, one step at a time, your hand trailing along the central stone column, feeling how countless hands before yours have worn it smooth. The stairs curve upward, round and round, taking you higher into one of the castle's many towers. Small windows appear at intervals, narrow slits in the thick stone, each offering a brief glimpse of the night outside. The moon, the stars, the sleeping countryside far below. At the top of the stairs, you emerge into a round chamber, the library tower. Shelves line the curved walls, filled with leather-bound volumes, their spines faded, their pages yellowed, their knowledge preserved in darkness and silence. A single reading desk stands near the center, angled to catch the light from a tall, narrow window, though now only moonlight falls across its worn surface. You move slowly around the room, running your fingers along the spines of books, feeling the texture of ancient leather, the riches of decorative tooling, the slight variations in size and shape. Some books are large and heavy, bound chronicles perhaps, or collections of laws and customs now obsolete. Others are smaller, more intimate, personal journals, or poetry collections, the private thoughts of people long since returned to dust. You select one volume at random, carefully removing it from the shelf, feeling its weight in your hands. The leather cover is soft with age, decorated with faint gold tooling that has mostly worn away, leaving only suggestions of patterns that once were clear. You open the book gently, the pages whispering against each other, revealing text in a language you cannot read, or perhaps simply choose not to read. Content instead to appreciate the shapes of letters, the careful script, the dedication required to fill these pages by hand. Placing the book carefully back in its place, you continue your slow circuit of the room, breathing in the scent of old paper and leather and time itself. Near the window, you pause, looking out over the moonlit landscape. The view from this height is extraordinary. Fields and forests stretching away into silver-touched darkness. A few distant lights marking villages or farmsteads. The ribbon of a river catching moonlight. Like polished metal, you stand there for a long moment, or perhaps many moments, time having lost its insistent quality. Watching the stillness, feeling part of it. Descending the tower stairs once more, you return to the main level of the castle, and make your way toward its heart, the great hall. Even before entering, you sense the scale of this space, the way sound changes. As you approach, becoming somehow larger, more resonant, you step through a wide archway, and the great hall opens before you, vast and magnificent even in darkness. This was the center of castle life, where feasts were held, where celebrations echoed against stone, where music and laughter and conversation once filled the air from floor to rafters. Now, only silence holds court here. The hall stretches before you, longer than seems possible, its far end dissolving into shadow. Massive wooden beams cross the ceiling, dark with age and smoke from centuries of fires, supporting the weight of the floor above. Along both sides of the hall, tall windows rise, their glass thick and uneven, catching moonlight in irregular patterns, casting pale illumination across the stone floor. An enormous fireplace dominates one wall, large enough that several people could stand within it comfortably. Its hearth cold now, its stones blackened by countless fires. You can almost imagine the heat it once provided, the way firelight would have danced across the faces of those gathered here, the crackle and pop of burning logs, the warmth spreading through the vast space. Long wooden tables run the length of the hall, their surfaces scarred and stained by use, bearing the marks of countless meals, countless gatherings, countless moments of fellowship. You walk slowly alongside one of these tables, running your hand along its surface, feeling the grain of the wood, the texture of its history. Benches sit along either side, simple and solid, built to last and lasting still. At the far end of the hall, raised on a slight platform, sits a high table where the lord and lady of the castle would have presided, where honored guests would have been seated, where the hierarchy of the household would have been made visible and clear. The chairs at this table are more elaborate than the benches below, their backs carved with decorative patterns, their arms worn smooth by noble hands. You climb the 3 steps to the platform, moving slowly, respectfully. There is no one here to show respect to, except perhaps the memory of those who came before. Standing behind the central chair, you look out over the great hall, seeing it as countless lords and ladies saw it, presiding over feasts and gatherings, over music and merriment, over the daily life of the castle. But now there is only stillness. The tapestries that hang along the walls depict scenes of valor and virtue, knights in combat, ladies in gardens. Castles very much like this one, all rendered in thread and time. You notice how the moonlight catches them, illuminating first one scene, then another, as clouds pass unseen overhead, creating a slow dance of light and shadow. The silence here is profound, not empty, but full, rich with the accumulated quiet of many years, many nights, many moments just like this one. You stand in that silence, breathing slowly, feeling no need to break it, no need to fill it with anything other than your own peaceful presence. A small door in the corner of the great hall, easily overlooked, leads to the castle's chapel. You move toward it, opening the heavy wooden door slowly, feeling its weight, its resistance, as if it exists to keep the world outside at bay. The chapel is intimate after the vastness of the great hall, perhaps large enough for 30 souls, no more. Stone walls curve gently upward to a vaulted ceiling, the architecture creating a sense of upward movement, of aspiration even in stillness. Narrow windows of stained glass line the walls, too dark now to reveal their colors, but moonlight passes through them nonetheless, creating patterns of lighter and darker shadow on the floor. Simple wooden pews face toward the front of the chapel, their surfaces worn smooth by the hands and bodies of countless worshippers, people seeking comfort, seeking hope, seeking peace. You sit in one of these pews, settling slowly onto the wooden seat, feeling how it has been shaped by use, how it welcomes you as it welcomed so many before. At the front of the chapel, a simple altar stands, draped in cloth that was once richly colored, now faded to softer shades. Above the altar, a single window, larger than the others, allows moonlight to stream in, illuminating the altar in gentle silver, creating a focal point in the darkness. The silence here feels different than in other parts of the castle, more intentional perhaps, as if this space was built to hold silence, to protect it, to offer it as a gift to those who entered. You close your eyes, or perhaps they remain open. It hardly matters. Simply sitting, breathing, being present in this space of contemplation. You can almost sense the presence of those who sat here before you, not as ghosts, but as echoes, the accumulated weight of prayers and hopes and quiet meditations. How many people sought solace in this small chapel, in times of war and peace, in times of sorrow and celebration, in the simple, quiet moments between all else. The thought is comforting, connecting you across centuries to others who also needed rest, who also needed peace, who also needed simply to sit in silence, and let the world continue without them for a while. You remain in the chapel for a timeless span, the moonlight slowly shifting, the shadows gradually changing their shapes, the silence deepening around you like a warm blanket. When finally you rise, you do so slowly, gently, with no sense of urgency, simply knowing it is time to continue your quiet journey through the castle. Leaving the chapel, you make your way up another staircase, wider this time, the steps worn into gentle curves by countless climbs and descents. This stairway leads to the private chambers, the living quarters of the castle's noble family, spaces designed for rest and privacy, for the intimate moments of daily life. The corridor here is narrower than those below, more personal in scale, lined with doors that once opened to bed chambers and sitting rooms, to spaces of comfort and domesticity. One door stands slightly ajar, and you approach it slowly, pushing it open with gentle pressure, stepping into a bedchamber. The room is not large, but beautifully proportioned, with a high ceiling and tall windows that look out over the castle's courtyard. Four-poster bed dominates the space, its wooden frame carved with intricate patterns of vines and flowers, its curtains long since removed, leaving only the bare frame, elegant even in its simplicity. You imagine those curtains drawn closed on cold winter nights, creating a small, private world within the larger room, a sanctuary within a sanctuary. Wooden chest sits at the foot of the bed, its surface decorated with metal fittings. Its contents long since removed, yet it remains solid, present, patient. Against one wall, a small table and chair, where perhaps someone once sat to write letters or keep accounts or simply to think in. Privacy. The walls here were once covered in fabric or tapestry, now mostly bare, showing the stone beneath, though fragments remain in places, hints of color and pattern, ghosts of former beauty. You move to one of the windows, looking out over the courtyard below, a square space enclosed by the castle's walls, with a well at its center, and doorways leading to kitchens and workshops and storage rooms. Even from this height, you can see how the moonlight transforms the ordinary courtyard into something ethereal, turning stone to silver, shadow to mystery. The well in the center seems to hold darkness within it, a small pool of night at the heart of the castle, a source of life, of necessity, now silent and still. You turn back to the room, to the bed that once held sleeping forms, to the chair that once supported someone much like you, seeking rest at the end of a long day. Moving to the bed, you place your hand on the wooden frame, feeling the intricate carving beneath your fingers, the skill and care that went into its creation, the intention that it should last, and lasting still. In a corner of the room, almost hidden in shadow, stands a small alcove, perhaps once housing a religious icon or a personal treasure, now empty, yet somehow still special, still set apart. The room holds a sense of waiting, not abandonment, but simply patience, as if it knows that rest is timeless, that the need for sanctuary is eternal, and that someone will always eventually find their way here, seeking what it has always offered. You leave the bedchamber slowly, closing the door quietly behind you, though there is no one to disturb. The gesture feels right, respectful, a small acknowledgement of the intimacy you have witnessed. Another staircase beckons, even narrower than the last, spiraling upward within the thickness of the wall, leading to the castle's highest point. You begin to climb, one hand on the central stone column, one step at a time, round and round. The stairs worn smooth and slightly concave from centuries of ascending and descending feet. The climb is long, but not arduous. You take your time, pausing occasionally at the small windows that appear in the curve of the wall, each offering a different perspective on the night. Through one window, you see the moon directly, hanging luminous in the dark sky, so bright it seems almost to pulse with light. Through another, the distant forest, a dark mass on the horizon, mysterious and ancient, existing in its own rhythm, unconcerned with castles or kingdoms. Through another still, the village below, or what remains of it, a handful of structures, some intact, some crumbled, all sleeping beneath the stars. The higher you climb, the more the quality of air changes, becoming fresher, clearer, as if less touched by earth and time. Finally, you emerge onto the tower's top, a circular platform surrounded by crenellated battlements open to the sky. The view from here is breathtaking, though you have no need to catch your breath, the climb having been gentle, meditative, a journey rather than an effort. In every direction the world spreads out. Beneath you, fields and forests, hills and valleys, all rendered in shades of silver and shadow by the moonlight. The stars above are brilliant, undiminished by any competing light. Thousands upon thousands of them, some bright, some faint, all ancient beyond imagining. You move slowly around the platform, looking out in each direction, seeing how the landscape changes, how the river curves, how the forest thickens in one direction and thins in another, how roads once connected this place to the wider world. The wind here is gentle, steady, carrying with it the scent of fields and distant rain, of stone and time, of earth and sky meeting in the darkness. You place your hands on the battlement, feeling the stone beneath your palms, cool and solid, carved by masons long dead, shaped with tools whose design has barely changed in centuries. Standing here, you feel suspended between earth and sky, part of both, part of neither, simply present in this moment that stretches back through countless similar moments. Countless others who stood in this very spot, looking out at their own version of this same eternal view. The castle spreads out below you, its roofs and courtyards, its walls and towers, all fitting together like pieces of a vast stone puzzle, each part necessary, each part playing its role in the whole. You You notice the patterns of shadow and light, how some courtyards are completely dark, while others catch the moon, how windows glow faintly with reflected starlight, how the entire structure seems to breathe in the night. Time pauses, though you cannot say how much, minutes or hours. It hardly matters here. On this tower top, beneath these stars, surrounded by this ageless silence, as you stand upon the tower, you begin to imagine, or perhaps to remember, or perhaps simply to know, the gentle rhythm of the castle's nights long ago, when the castle was alive with movement, when people filled its halls and chambers. Nights followed a rhythm as reliable as the turning of the earth. As daylight faded, as the sun touched the western horizon, the castle would begin its slow transformation from day to night. Servants would move through the corridors and halls, lighting torches, their flames catching one from another, spreading illumination through the growing darkness, creating pools of warmth and light. In the great hall, the evening meal would be prepared, the long table set, bread and meat and ale, ranged, the entire household gathering as they did each night, sharing food, sharing stories, sharing the simple comfort of company. The lord and lady would take their places at the high table, their children beside them, the rhythm of family and hierarchy and tradition playing out as it had for generations. After the meal, some would linger, talking quietly, their voices blending with the crackle of the fire, while others would make their way to their chambers, to rest, to sleep, to prepare for the next day. Guards would change their watch, one group relieving another, moving to their posts along the walls, their eyes scanning the darkness. Beyond the castle, their presence a quiet assurance of safety. In the kitchens, fires would be banked for the night, carefully tended, kept alive, but low, ready to be brought back to full flame in the morning, providing continuity, maintaining the heart of the castle's warmth. Doors would be checked, bolts secured, the castle closing in upon itself, creating a protected space within which sleep could come safely. In the chapel, perhaps a final prayer would be offered, a moment of quiet gratitude for the day past, a simple hope for the night ahead. In the private chambers, candles would be lit, casting warm light on stone walls, on wooden furniture, on faces preparing for rest. Parents would check on sleeping children, pulling blankets up, smoothing hair, offering the wordless blessing of their presence. In the bedchambers of the lord and lady, servants would prepare the beds, warming them with heated stones wrapped in cloth, ensuring comfort through the cool night ahead. And then gradually, steadily, the castle would grow quiet. Conversations would soften, then cease, replaced by the gentle sounds of settling, of breathing, of the castle itself adjusting to the night. Torches would burn lower, some allowed to go out, others tended to provide necessary light. Through the dark hours, their flames dancing in the silence, the guards on the walls would walk their circuits, their footsteps soft, regular, rhythmic, a heartbeat of protection, a steady presence in the darkness. And in chamber after chamber, in bed after bed, people would surrender to sleep, their breathing slowing, their bodies relaxing, the day releasing its hold, the night welcoming them into its embrace. This rhythm repeated night after night, year after year, century after century, until the castle itself seemed to embody it, to hold it within its stones, to remember it, even after the people were gone. And now, standing on this tower, you can almost feel that rhythm still, echoing through the empty halls, present in the patient stones, waiting, always waiting, for those who might return, or for those like you, who come seeking the peace that such rhythms create. Eventually, gently, you make your way back upward, returning to the main level of the castle, to the corridors you've walked before, to the spaces that have become familiar. In this single night of wandering, you find yourself once again in the great hall, that vast, central space, the heart of the castle. The moonlight has shifted during your journey, illuminating different windows, casting different patterns across the stone floor, creating an entirely new landscape of light and shadow. You walk slowly down the center of the hall, between the long tables, feeling the space around you, above you, the volume of air, the patient presence of stone. You notice details you missed before, or perhaps they simply reveal themselves now. The way observation deepens with familiarity. A coat of arms carved into the stone above the fireplace, its symbols weathered but still visible, speaking of lineage, of pride, of identity. Small carved details in the wooden beams overhead, decorative elements no one below could see clearly, yet crafted with care, nonetheless beauty for its own sake. Or perhaps for the eyes of heaven. The way the floor stones fit together, not perfectly, but well enough, each stone shaped by hand, placed by hand, part of a larger whole that has endured. You make your way to the great fireplace, stepping into its vast opening, looking up at the chimney disappearing into darkness above, imagining the countless fires that burn here, the heat they provided, the light they cast, the way they drew people close. Stepping back out, you run your hand along the mantel, a massive beam of ancient oak, dark and dense, polished smooth by contact, by the leaning of countless arms, by the presence of countless people seeking the fire's warmth. The hall feels different now than when you first entered, more familiar, more welcoming, as if the castle has accepted your presence, recognized you as one more in a long line of wanderers seeking shelter, seeking peace, seeking rest. You move to one of the tall windows, looking out at the courtyard, seeing it from a different angle than before, the well at its center, casting a long shadow in the moonlight, the various doorways around its perimeter leading to spaces you have and haven't explored. The night is deep now, the hour late, though exact time has ceased to have meaning. You are tired, but it is a good tiredness, the natural fatigue of a body ready for rest, a mind ready for dreams, a spirit ready for surrender. There is one more place to visit, one more chamber to discover, before this night's journey concludes. You make your way up a final staircase, narrow and winding, leading to a tower room you haven't yet entered. At the top of the stairs, a wooden door, slightly smaller than the others, more intimate in scale. You open it slowly, stepping into a small circular chamber, private space at the top of one of the castle's lesser towers. The room is simple, beautiful in its simplicity, with whitewashed walls, and a single window looking east toward where the sun will eventually rise, though that is still many hours away. A bed stands against the curved wall, not grand like the four-poster in the main bedchamber, but simple and inviting, with a thick mattress and heavy woolen blankets. Everything needed for true rest, nothing more. A small table beside the bed holds a single candle, unlit, and a simple wooden cup. The floor is covered in woven rushes, dried and fragrant, releasing a faint scent of herbs and summer meadows with each step. This room feels prepared, waiting as if someone knew you would come, as if someone wanted you to find rest here. In this quiet space, in this protected tower, you move to the window, looking out at the night one final time. The view faces away from the castle's main approaches, looking instead toward the open countryside, toward forests and fields, toward the wild world beyond walls and civilization. The moon is lower now, beginning its slow descent toward the western horizon, its light softer, more gentle, less brilliant but somehow more intimate. Stars fill the sky, unchanged, eternal, witnesses to countless nights, countless lives, countless moments just like this one. You turn from the window, back to the room, to the bed waiting. Patiently, moving slowly, you sit on the edge of the bed, feeling its firmness, its welcome, the way it accepts your weight without complaint. You notice how the mattress is stuffed with something soft, perhaps wool, perhaps down, something that yields and supports simultaneously. The blankets are heavy, woven from thick wool, dyed in natural colors, deep blues and greens, earthy browns, the colors of the world from which they came. You lie back slowly, stretching out, feeling the bed conform to your body, feeling the weight of the blankets as you pull them up, feeling the embrace of rest approaching. The ceiling above is simple wooden beams radiating from the center of the circular room, meeting at a central point, creating a pattern that draws the eye upward, then releases it, allowing you to simply gaze, to simply be. Your breathing slows naturally, deepening, your body knowing what to do, how to prepare for sleep, how to release the day, how to welcome the night. You feel the weight of your limbs, heavy, relaxed, sinking into the mattress, becoming one with the bed, with the room, with the castle, with the earth beneath it all. The silence wraps around you like an additional blanket, warm, comforting, complete. You are safe here, protected by stone walls, by time itself, by the accumulated peace of centuries. Nothing requires your attention, nothing needs your energy, nothing calls for your action. You are simply here, simply present, simply allowed to rest. Your eyelids grow heavy, or perhaps they're already closed. It hardly matters. The darkness is gentle, welcoming, full of peace. Rather than emptiness, you feel yourself drifting, floating, held and supported, moving into that space between waking and sleeping, that threshold where both exist simultaneously, where neither fully claims you. The castle continues its vigil around you, patient, protective, asking nothing, offering everything, simply being what it has always been, a shelter, a sanctuary, a place of rest. The castle sleeps, stone and wood, hall and tower, all resting together. The great hall below rests in shadow, the long tables holding only moonlight, the fireplace cold, but patient, knowing that fire will return when needed. The corridors rest, their worn stones, bearing witness to nothing but stillness, their torches burning low, maintaining just enough light to honor the night without disturbing it. The chapel rests, its small space holding prayers spoken and unspoken, its silence, form of prayer itself, deep and sincere. The library tower rests, books holding their knowledge in darkness, pages unread but not forgotten, words waiting for eyes that may never come or may come tomorrow. Private chambers rest, beds empty but not abandoned, rooms unoccupied but not unloved, spaces that remember warmth and will welcome it again should it return. The battlements rest, guards long since relieved of their watch, walls no longer needing defense, stones still solid but no longer vigilant, having earned their peace. The courtyards rest, the well, at their center reflecting stars, a small circle of sky brought down to earth, heaven and earth meeting in water and stone. And you rest in your tower room, in your simple bed, beneath your heavy blankets, surrounded by walls that have sheltered countless sleepers before you. Your breathing is slow now, barely perceptible, your chest rising and falling in gentle rhythm, your body completely relaxed. Every muscle has released its tension, every joint has settled into comfortable alignment. Every part of you has found its perfect position.